Hi everyone, it's Adriana here back again, and this is part 2 of creating with alcohol inks in your art journal. You saw me in part 1 how I used a piece of Yupo paper. I placed some alcohol inks on there, blended all the colours and did a transfer technique creating beautiful backgrounds. Here's another background and some other ones that I've used the same technique, creating a transfer technique using alcohol inks on Yupo paper and just placing it on top. So another technique on using with your art journal is creating a base or prepping the paper with gesso. You can use clear gesso or white gesso, and then after that, once it's dried, you can do stamping, you can do stenciling, you can add mixed media, texture paste. I've just done a really simple 2 pages here, very simple, just with some gesso before I applied the alcohol inks. So with alcohol inks, you can use it on Yupo paper, there's no problem. In using it in an art journal, you're going to find that it will seep through, but this technique that I'm going to show you, there's no right or wrong. It's just a technique that I've found works if you want to use alcohol inks in your art journal. Some art journals will be removable pages, like my first art journal, but this one here you can't take pages out. So what I've done is I've placed 2 coats of white gesso. You can use clear gesso as well. I gave it 1 coat, let it dry, gave it another coat, and then I played on it, and all these pages here have all got gesso before I use the alcohol inks and I painted on. Of course, you can use your Yupo paper and then just stick the Yupo design or use a Yupo adhesive paper that we have that you can actually add to your pages. This is another Yupo design that I've added onto my journal. So the other product that we have is fabulous for doing this, is using the A4 Yupo adhesive paper. There are 10 sheets and they're A4 size. So what I did was I placed 2 of these pages on each page. I placed 1 sheet and cut off the excess. You just peel away the backing and just attach it to your journal pages, and this is ready to go to create because you actually have Yupo paper stuck in your journal. So that's a great way. Instead of using gesso, use the Yupo adhesive paper. You get 10 sheets in the pack and they're an A4 size. So that's another way of creating with alcohol inks in your art journal. If you do not have gesso and you don't use Yupo paper, this is what happens, and this is what I don't want you to do, because alcohol inks does not move very well on normal cardstock. It just doesn't work. It seeps through and will damage your journal book. So please do not use on normal cardstock, it just doesn't work. So the 2 pages that I've created here, I'm going to show you the technique on how to apply gesso and other bits and pieces that you might have in your craft room. I've also did some foiling on some Yupo paper as well. You can foil on Yupo paper with a Go Press Foil machine. So here I have one of the inserts from my art journal. It's one of the small ones. It's a watercolor paper and I think it's about 300 GSM. I'm just placing some washi tape randomly over my page, and then I've got some pages from an old book. I'm just going to tear some of that up and just apply onto my page, just to give this page a bit of texture, a bit of layering. Just applied a bit of glue on there, and then once that's dry, I'm going to be placing 2 coats of white gesso. Now again, you can use clear gesso as well. This is what I had on hand in my craft room. So I'm just applying a coat of white gesso, completely drying that, and then apply another coat, and once that's all dry, that's ready to create. So I'm using the Glitter Accent Alcohol inks. Now remember to give them a really good shake. There is a little bead in there to break up the pigment, and also the glitter, and you want to make sure the glitter is beautifully applied when you apply the alcohol inks onto your project. Using these two colors that are on the screen, I really love this combination, and also using some blending solution to dilute the color and make it move. And as you can see, it is like when working on Yupo paper, it will float beautifully. I'm also using the felt applicator. It's in the shape of a heart, just to soften the edges with a bit of the Cappuccino Glitter Accent alcohol ink. Using the air blower to blow away and move the ink around my page. So there you have my page. You can add some stencils, you can add some texture paste on that. I just want to create now a beautiful butterfly with my Go Press foil machine and this beautiful steampunk butterfly. This is a beautiful butterfly, and I'm going to create with that with a piece of Yupo paper that I've already laid some alcohol inks. So I'm placing the metal conversion plate on top of my platform of my Go Press foil machine, placing the beautiful Steampunk Dreams butterfly cut and create die on top, and letting that heat through. You'll notice that the button is on the left hand side, the right hand side, sorry, is still flashing red. We need to make sure that that is green. Before I place the Yupo paper on top there, I just placed a bit of foil color side down and a piece of white stock just to heat up that foil. Once the green light was on, then I placed my Yupo paper. If I had placed my Yupo paper from the word go before I even pressed the button, it would actually melt that Yupo paper, and that's not what you want to do, because the Yupo paper is like a plastic paper. So running that through my Go Cut and Emboss machine, with my machine I run it up once and run it back, and that cuts and beautifully every time I use my machine. Really simple and easy to use. Remembering to, when you're not using your Go Press foil machine, place it back into its dock of the platform of the base. Place the platform onto the base of the Go Press foil machine. So here you have the beautiful chocolate foiled a beautiful butterfly on top of Yupo paper with the Yupo the alcohol inks design underneath. Isn't that gorgeous? Now this butterfly is quite big, so on my page here I think I might only just use 3/4 of it and probably cut and use the other side of my paper. Now I'm just randomly stamping some stamp sentiments from the Steampunk Design collection, and also some cogs that was also a stamp set from the Steampunk collection. You could add, as like I said, some stenciling on here. You could add some texture paste. I just wanted to keep it very flat, just had the texture from the paper and the washi tape underneath. Now I'm just cutting a section off of this butterfly and folding it over to the behind. And as you can see, there is no ink that's gone through the paper, which is fabulous, because on the back I'll probably put some more pigment inks and create something different on the back. So that's my page. I also placed a bit of a little word sentiment in chipboard, and that's the thing with the alcohol inks. Any dark colors like metallic colors comes out beautifully on chipboard. You can color your chipboard with alcohol inks. So here's my my journal page. It's just a very simple page, and it's not a proven technique. It's just a technique that I've found that works if you want to use alcohol inks in your art journaling. And it's just preparing the paper or your art journal page before you add your alcohol inks. So I hope you found this handy. I hope it inspired you to create with alcohol inks in your art journal. Please subscribe to my channel and leave any comments or any questions that you have in the sections below. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope I've inspired you. I'll see you around soon. Bye for now.